Welcome. Welcome back to excuse me, jeez. Watching with Styles. I apologize in advance. Um I'm trying to do too much. TikTok is jerking me over for some way, somehow. I don't know. So that's why I tried to start earlier and it didn't work. So I'm not worried about them. So won't get any TikTok live tonight. But all the rest of them are alive and well. So we're back. And I don't have much to say for the pre for my monologue, I guess. I can say this. And if you haven't watched the KSR football podcast, what was that, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you should go and watch the podcast. The on YouTube. It's there. And one thing that was brought up during that podcast that I want to address real quickly is that there has been many conversations about roster management. And what's up, Steven? What's up, John? And the construction of a roster is not like this is the interesting part to me is when we do roster construction, roster management, it's on the scale of we can get the best players and they're not coming to Kentucky and playing well. We can only get the guys who want to come here. You can only attract the guys that hey, this is the tough part about it. Either you find a guy that has a relationship or formed a relationship with one of your coaches and has picked you over the big dogs, or you get a guy who's not pursued as much by the big guys, even though they can say on their social media that they're offered by someone. Is that a committable offer, or that's just an offer? Because there's a big difference. So to construct a roster that address all angles is very difficult. Is it impossible? No. But that's where I go back to you have to, which we didn't do in retrospect, if you think about it, you have to find the quarterback. And the weird thing about it, and I've been saying this for a long time, a very good quarterback can make everybody else look better than what they are. What's up, John? Yep, night 2 of therapy. If you want to pay me, you can pay me. I'll charge. I'll invoice you later, John. Is you got to identify the quarterback, and I know we spent a lot of money on the O line. And in retrospect, maybe you should have spent more money on a quarterback than O line because a quarterback can make a difference. Like I said, it goes back to Diego Pavea, Mendoza with Indiana, Cam Ward last year when he was with Miami. Like all these quarterbacks matter. And you have to lock on to a quarterback. And there's a point where you almost got to pay a quarterback whatever he wants, up to a point. It's very important to get the quarterback. I don't care what anyone says. I know there's going to be some stuff said about one of the quarterbacks I mentioned. But the Terry Wilson and the Will Levis was a difference maker. They were difference makers. And we expected Devin Leary to be that difference maker. It wasn't that he didn't have a decent season, he just wasn't a difference maker. And the reason why the offense is progressing this point of the season now is because we're on the verge of having a difference maker at the quarterback position. So roster construction is not as easy. It's not just put together a better roster. Uh-oh. Alan says YouTube is not working. Alan, let me see. Let me see what's going on. It should be working, Alan. You might have to log off and log back on. Let me check it on my end. But roster management is very true, but there's nuances to it. And that needs to be, well, Alan is working for me. So I don't know. So in theory, can you not see me, Woodley? You said you can hear me. I wonder if you can see me because, well, I guess you can't see me. You can see the the game. So, it is. How can I say it? If you're gonna spend your money, oh, John, I'm sorry, John. Yes, Alan, I don't click on the 30-second version. That was the wrong one. I probably need to find a way to delete it. But I started one and I had to stop it because I was trying to get on the tickies and the takis, and it wasn't working. So I had to start a new one. All right. So we have to figure out a way to pay money to the right positions. So what are the top positions that need to be paid? Probably quarterback. You can find a running back's a dime a dozen. I love running backs. I'm not gonna say if you can't find a great one, it matters, but man, you can find a running back anywhere. You probably need a receiver, a quarterback, a left tackle, and a couple defensive ends. If you can get those, we can find the other positions to make it work. Then you go down from there. Probably then you need to find some corners. Then you need to find another wide receiver. Then you can piece it together. But the most important positions are quarterbacks, a dude at wide receiver, and a couple defensive ends. Pay big money for those, just like you do in the NFL. So you need to find a way to spend the money. So I'm starting with quarterback. Then I'll probably go on defensive end. Then I'll probably go left tackle. This is where, Derek Locke. Yes, that was Derek Locke. That's where I'm going. So roster construction is this. Can you find a quarterback that's a difference maker and pay him the cash money? And he's willing to come here. That's where you start. Now, here's the great part about us right now is we have a quarterback who's a local. It's easy to get him the cash because he's local. Now you just got to find the other position, and you potentially have him for 3 years. Now you got to find the other positions. That's how you build. That's how you try to construct a roster. The problem is you're not guaranteed to get the guys that you want because there are other teams probably going after those same guys. That's all I'm saying. Now, if you're fortunate, and people are going to say, well, Indiana and Vandy, both of those situations, perfect storm in a crazy part about it, I keep saying this. Timing is everything. When do you set the timer? Because you know what? Clark Lee has said he has structured his program after what Mark Stoops did here. So we have been there. Just bad that now the time is you're a recency bias, and now those that so many years ago we can't talk about it. It's a recency bias. Like I've said on the locker Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If there was playoffs in 2018 and or 2021, the perception of the program would be different because we would be in the playoffs. In the playoffs before, all these teams that now y'all saying will be in the playoffs before us. But you see, because then it'd be like all those programs like, well, how did Kentucky get the playoffs before us? Timing is everything. Timing is everything. I wouldn't have met my wife if I didn't go to the Cubs games, Cub game by the provided by the Bears, while all my other buddies I hang out with went somewhere else. But I wanted to go to a Cub game. So I went with other people and met my wife. Timing is everything. So roster construction is complicated. Cignetti brought his guys from JMU. Then he got Mendoza. Clark Lee brought in New Mexico State coaching staff offensively and the quarterback who's been in one system for 4 years. Well, shit. Is it not 5 years now? Or that's 4 years. He's been in the same offense for 4 years. With the same play caller. Not just the same offense, the same play caller. It makes a difference. So, let's get into this film. Ain't much more to say. We talked a lot yesterday. So, the score should be at worst. Let's say that it should be 31-21. And we get the ball first. But hey, John, it feels like I would say this, y'all, and this is the honest truth. In high school, my first 3 years of high school, I played in a triple option. Never ran triple option until I got to high school. And every other level, from pee-wees to middle school, we ran a pro-style offense. A true pro-style offense. 2 backs, tight end, flanker, and an X. A true pro-style offense. Under center, eye back, strong, weak, all that stuff. When I got to high school, we ran triple option. My senior year, we went to a spread style offense. And we implemented that offense in the fall. And it took me to about week 6 to get completely comfortable with the system. And that is in high school, y'all. I met with my offensive coordinator / quarterback coach every day before school to get the system down so that we saw the game the same way. Every day, every morning, 6:15, whatever. Every morning we met. It took me 6 games to get comfortable. I can't imagine the amount of numbers I would have put up if I would have had that same system the 2.5 years I started. It would have been crazy. Because when it got to the end of the season, it was like clockwork. I would say we put in a time because he had to get up early. Now he knows the system, but to break it down to a way that I can make it digestible was huge. And by the time we got to the playoffs, man, we were clicking. And I think we were 5-5 that season because the first few games it was just rough. And not rough in a bad way. our starting running back was suspended for the first 3 to 4 games, so that hurt. There were some things that happened, but the when you get comfortable in the system, like remember the triple option my junior year, I could call plays because I ran the system for long enough. And by the playoffs of my senior year, we were out. He was allowing me to call plays because we had check with me at the line of scrimmage, and that check with me would be 2 plays, and it was up to me to decide to run the running play or the passing play, or we might have 2 running plays, one to the right, one to the left, whatever it is, and not the same play. It could be ISO to the right, speed option to the left. It could be something like that. So for it to get to that level about midway in the season was huge. So when you get a guy who can play 4 years in the same system, I can imagine. Dude, it's like clockwork. And he is doing things at Vandy that hasn't been done since probably Jay Cutler, really. And he is the engine to that. I showed some plays from the LSU game. He's the reason why they won that game. Solely on his back. Extending plays, keeping them in drives, staying ahead of the chains because of his feet and his intelligence. And that is what happened. That is starting to rear its beautiful head with us and Cutter He's starting to see things. The picture is becoming clear, and you can see the light bulb becoming brighter. So, with all that said, this first play pisses me off. And it pissed me off live. And then when I saw it again, where you can really look at it piece by piece, this is bullshit. This is embarrassing. We have legitimately 5 guys. Why did it go? We have legitimately 5 guys, y'all, that should be able to block 3 to 4 from Tennessee. It is a perfect call. Tennessee done hit not one of these defensive linemen said, I don't feel any pressure. Maybe they are doing something weird. I shouldn't be able to get to the quarterback this easy. All 4 of them rush the quarterback. Usually one of these guys would veer back and say, hey, I shouldn't be getting to the quarterback that easy. We only had one lineman that had to, I don't know if it's on purpose, to secure one of the defensive linemen. If we don't get dog whipped, ragdoll there, find someone to block. Find someone to block. I want you to understand. I want you to see how many of those 4 guys blocked anyone. Whiff on this one. He blocks nobody. And whiff. We literally touched not one defensive player. That was a perfect call. And we got like 1 yard. You couldn't have called a better call with the reaction that Dave, with the defensive lineman, given the reaction that gave to the play, to have 4 offensive linemen out in front and get nothing out of it. That's crazy. As Johnny would say, run the damn ball. John, we running the ball. And I would say this. Throughout the game, Bush stayed with the run as much as he can. Now, this ends up being a beautiful play. It's 3rd and 7. You have to know where your release valve is. And I would have loved for him to throw it here. Now this is live. Like, get it to your running back. Let him make these guys miss. Now, the end of the day, he made a great play. Faked that defensive tackle out. Great pitch and catch. And we got way more yards than we would have gotten if he passed it to Patterson. So sometimes you gotta let a guy be a guy. And that's a damn good ball. I am sold on him being special. I'm sold on him being special. Now, is that special to a crazy level? I don't know, but he's got a chance to help us go places. Hopefully he sticks around. Now, y'all, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to say this is his fault, but I hate this. We get the ball on the sideline, and there's no fight. There's no fight to try and get extra yards. I don't like this. Like, just don't run out of bounds. Like, fight to stay in bounds and fight to get more yards. Because at the end of the day, we need every inch we can get. Every one. Get it to him. Let him take all the punishment. Let him become an athlete. That's what he's literally paid to do nowadays, because we're paid to do that now. This is another bullshit. This is hot garbage. And I don't know. I could be wrong. So I'm gonna start off with this. And I haven't said this many times like I should have and like I used to. Obviously, y'all, I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm not in Lexington. I'm not privy to going to practice. I'm not privy to practice film. I'm not privy to anything. So I don't know if he's coached this way. But I know all the screenplays I have ran, the running back gets a little deeper, then he locates. When your running back locates in front of the defensive lineman, it's easy peasy. Like, that should be, it's somewhere he should be, somewhere I would think, in essence, he need to be somewhere in here. Maybe right there. That right there is crazy. John, talk to me. So I guess you was at the game. Vols fans are assholes. But they're a rival. Not only they're a rival, they have beaten us so many times. You know what's funny that I hear a lot, and I'm gonna pull it up now because I don't know the official number, but it's funny to me that the what can I say? The narrative that I've heard a lot is that Heupel is 5-0 against Stoops. Oh shit. That is commonplace. If you look at the history of us against Kentucky, let me even think about it. I'm pulling up, y'all. When have a coach had a winning season? Like, it's crazy. So if we go, so shit, if you think about it, Stoops has 2 wins against Tennessee. right? In 2011. But from 2010 to 1984, Tennessee has won every game. So there was a lot of coaches that were undefeated against our current coach. To say Heupel is 5-0 is crazy because there's been a hell of a lot of coaches with did Jeremy, no, not Jeremy Pruitt, did what's the guy's name before Pruitt that was Dallas wide receiver coach? Shit, it was on the tip of my tongue. Did he lose a game to Kentucky? He was a shitty ass coach. So all this shit about it's crazy. So this screenplay, I don't like the procedure and the execution. The running back needs to be somewhere here, not right there. That is I'm pretty comfortable saying that Derek Dooley. Thank you, John. Derek Dooley, bruh. Did he lose in the games to us while he was coach? I want y'all to understand this too, because it's not. We think that it's finding a coach is like easy. I understand it's probably time, but to just make it think that bringing a new coach is wins. You went from Philip Fulmer. Do you want to count Lane Kiffin year to Lane Kiffin 76 to Derek Dooley 6-6 5-5 6-7 well 6-7 5-7 5-7 to Butch Jones 5-7 76 9-4 9-4 4-8 to Pruitt 5-7 8-5 3-7 to then they found their coach in Heupel. Like, man, and I don't want to go through other teams with who's going through Florida, going through shit ton of like. It's great. It's great. I hope whenever it happens, we identify the right guy because it sucks to go through a carousel of coaches until you find the right guy. I'm just saying. Um, Dooley lost to Rourke. Wow, that's fitting. Yet he lost to the damn wide receiver. Fuck. He won the 2 games, then he lost to the wide receiver. That's wild. Um, the execution of the screenplay is not admirable. I'm taking a pause because, as I was taught younger, breathe through your nose, man. Breathe through your nose. Breathe through your nose. Trying to calm myself down because I hate this as a DB. And I've been complimentary to Nichols, but there's a sense of when bad things happen to you, you lose focus. And giving up the touchdowns, I think he lost focus. We know that Tennessee loved to run tunnel screens. Watch the difference between Lovett and I think that's Watson. Watch their reaction to the quarterback throwing the ball compared to Nichols. Just watch. Front hand comes off the ball, you should be driving. He's driving right now. That linebacker is starting the process to drive. Look, they have taken steps forward, and he hasn't yet. He still hasn't taken a step forward, and a wide receiver catches the ball. That's his first step right there. That's horseshit. He should be right here making this window as small as possible. But he's feeling sorry for himself because of what happened early in the game. You cannot let previous plays dictate future plays. Just can't. Not at this position. And then you get beat with the hee hee. That's when your guys on the perimeter. And y'all, there's nothing that makes this defendable. I can't make up anything to make that. He's in this position. This guy is probably 3 yards from the sideline. There is no way I can give any kind of defense to not locking that guy down at where you are right now. You are in phase, in perfect position to ward that guy off, pin him to the sideline, and not allow him to beat you on a loop. What's crazy is watch the route. There's nothing special about the release. There's no stem. He's just racing down the field. And right now, you are in phase with him. But we got to close that gap. So that is crazy. And there's people covered. There's no other throw. He just throws this up, y'all. He throws this up. This is a prayer. This is a prayer. Can people on X tell me there's no volume? Because my OBS is telling me I have volume, Tommy. He throws up a prayer and is answered. Because our fucking corners could not cover a basic 9 route. And somebody said, I can't remember where I heard it, that Brad White, Tom Leach this morning said, Brad White said that he probably shouldn't have left his guys out on the island. Okay, good, Tommy. That's BS. That's their job. Right, John. It was. JQ covered this guy. It's right. I say he's right. He's wrong. Corner jobs is to cover. And if you can't cover, you can't play corner on that night. You just can't. And as a defensive coordinator, if your corners can't coverage, you're fucked. Now you can have one that can't cover. You can roll coverage to him. Leave the other one maybe on an island by himself and not have to roll cover 3 over to one corner. So you don't give up hitches all day on the backside. You can play him man to man and roll coverage to the other guy. Or put him, if you only have that you have to do. But when both corners get beat, you can't roll coverage regardless. Now, to make it harder, is you can't roll coverage against Tennessee because now you take safeties out of the run game. So your corners got to have to cover. And on Saturday night, it was non-existent. And you can't win like that. You just can't. Dude, I think they had definitely over 230 yards on 5 deep balls. Fucking ridiculous. DJ Miller, Cam Miller, Carter Bowley, they have a synergy. Obviously, like I said a week or so ago, because they was with the twos. So they have that connection. I love sticking to the run game. I love it. And this is what's crazy. John said that ball was thrown inside of his route and the wide receiver went got it. Using the end zone. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John. That is poor. That's why, John, if you look at that ball, there was no one open and he just threw it up. He has done that in other games early this season, and a lot of them got picked off. But on that one, it's crazy. At one point, dude was 6 for 6. That's crazy, John. Now, I ain't gonna lie. A lot of those early ones, they were on point. The guys were wide open, and he didn't underthrow them at all. They were on it. So you gotta give him credit for that too. But our guys can't get in that situation. You can't put yourself in that situation. It's inexcusable. I'm not gonna say you can't get beat once, but not over and over again. And on the first one, it wasn't even he got beat. We had both corners in essence run the wrong coverage. They ran the wrong coverage. It wasn't the same. I don't know if the corner's fault, whomever. The unit was not running the same coverage, and Tennessee had two guys butt naked open. John Bush is staying with the run, brother. This is what's crazy, man. This is what's so frustrating. Is we should be honestly talking about the offense being able to create points. Now they gave up honestly 14, but to be able to put drives together, put points on the board, which we have not seen anything like this honestly this year. For them to do that, man, and for us to just shit down our leg in the secondary is wow. I knew you would like it, John. Now I can say, y'all, is that these guys are the effort is there. Like we are blocking. We got a swing route and we're blocking. We are straining. This is a damn good play call for a team that likes to play man. And we blocked everyone that we should have blocked. And now Patterson's got to make that one guy miss. He almost had it. He's got to make one guy miss in space. Now, when I saw this play, y'all, live, I'm like, why is he running so far deep on his motion? Then when they threw it, I'm like, oh shit, it's a double pass because he threw it backwards. I'm like, we about to throw this down pass again. And lo and behold, we had a guy butt naked open. And we overshot him by 10 yards. Damn, we needed that one. Because we get no points out of this. We get no points out of this. Zero. Cutter is passionate to everyone, not just he is. I will say this: he has a connection with the receivers that he's trusting those guys because he know where they're going to be. They have a rhythm together. The Miller brothers. So and he's roommates with the two tight ends, so they have a connection. So it matters, man. I never forget. I had a connection with my tight end in high school, and I had a connection with another wide receiver who wasn't by he was probably the smallest receiver, probably the slowest receiver, but we had a rhythm. And when my tight end quit after his junior year, I went to the slow receiver. But I knew where he was going to be. He was where he was supposed to be all the time. And I can tell you this, man. See, now you bring it back. My last game in high school was against the eventual state champion, the quarterfinals at home. We won the first two playoff games on the road. Came home, played a team, Coshada, and we game planned the shit out of them. At the time, I was about 5'9", so I was shorter. and we had Bubba on basically think of shallow routes all game. And the defensive end blocked my ball down at least 12 times. I could not get it fucking around him, over him. I couldn't get the ball to Bubba, and he was open all game. Damn. But when you have a rhythm with a guy, you when shit goes awry, that's who you look for as a quarterback. Third and 10. Third and 10. We got to get better at this. Now, I'm not going to lie. Pete got just dragged into your lap, but Caddis runs a great route. We don't know if it's a first down. Watch what he does. He has a mesh route, y'all. This is mesh route. This is what happened. For people who don't know what a mesh route is. So these two guys go high and low. So one guy is going to go higher, in essence. One guy is going to go lower. That's the mesh route. The great thing about what Caddis does is he settles in the open window. This is Caddis. Caddis has the mesh route, but he has an IQ where he's like, they're not playing man, so there's no need for me to run all the way across, and he settles right over the ball. That's your pass. That's the ball you throw right there. That is a 4-yard pass, and let him make the yards. And here is the thing, is if it's 4th and 4 or less, I think we go for it. Okay? There's your guy. Right over the ball. You got to let that rip. You got to let that rip. There is no reason why you didn't let that ball go right there. Let it rip. I mean, I don't like that option. This is your second option when you have this one. That's one, then you can throw to that one. It's you just gotta trust the process. You gotta trust it. Back in the South, I want people to understand that it doesn't take an offensive head coach to have a good offense. Like it doesn't require you to hire. Not saying you shouldn't hire Will Stein if he's the best. If, like I said yesterday, first of all, you got to find a guy who wants to be here. If Will Stein wants to be here and he's an offensive minded coach, great. If John Summerall wants to be here, he's a defensive minded coach, great. They will hire the opposite of the ball that they feel comfortable with. If you hire John Summerall, he's going to be able to find and entice OC to come here because you have Cutter. So you don't have to hire Will Stein to have a good offense because he's an offensive coach. You just don't. So I want to find a guy who wants to be here, who wants to set some roots here. Ooh, that's a bad knee. God damn it. Eesh. I want a head coach that wants to set some roots here. All right. That's my number one. I want someone who wants to be here, who's willing to set some roots here. Then you go from there. So we get no points. The defensive line, y'all, has played well all year. I'll play it from the close up. All right. To me, playing corner and playing press is all about right here and right there is at the line of scrimmage. If you lose at the line of scrimmage, you're toast. Okay? And I'm gonna go into detail. First of all, 2 yards away from the wide receiver is too far. You need to either be smelling what flavor gum he's chewing, or be 1.5 yards away from the receiver. It makes a big difference. So if you're going to play hard press, you need to be right up on him. You look to the side judge and say, "Am I on side or not?" You get as close as you can until he says you're offsides. You get inside leverage. You shoot your right hand, and you patient at the line of scrimmage if you hard press. If he outside releases you, you shuffle. Try to get a jam until he's almost even with you, and you jam with this inside hand, so then your hips are freely able to open, and you ride him as long as you can. Sounds simple, but it is. If he beats you inside, you shoot with the right hand, and once he starts crossing your face, you have to switch to the left hand, because if you continue shooting with the right hand, it's going to lock your hips, and he's got you. So if you're going to play hard press, that's the general way to play. If you're 2 yards off, you're too far off. The angles he has to beat you multiplies than if you were 1.5. All right. When you're 1.5 yards off, you have to soft pedal, which means you have to back pedal. You're not bailing out, but it's a soft pedal. I can't describe a soft pedal. If you wanna, you should be able to search online for. I'm sure there's somebody a DB corner soft pedal out of press, and you can see what a soft pedal is. Now, when you do what JQ does, which is not a soft pedal or a hard press, so he doesn't keep a little bit of cushion with a soft pedal. He takes, I don't even want to know, is a jab step. He takes a half step, and now he gives him angles because he's already 2 yards off. His 1.5, you'll be a little tighter, so you can shoot that right arm, that right hand, and get a little bit more contact, and that's a shitty ass jam. He beats your jam with the arm swing, and once he beats you with the arm swing, now you have no pressure to stop him from progressing forward, and you're beat now. JQ was beat at that moment right there. That's it. He's done. He's cooked. It's so around that after 13 seasons, Stupid's probably on his way out when he finally, well, back in the South, Derek Terry said that on game day. He did. He said that it was the exact same words. You're hired to be fired. And apparently coaches shouldn't be at an institution for as long as he has. It comes a point, y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. All linebackers played pretty well. But these last couple games hasn't been very good. Fari, or Landon, or Rayner. In the run game, nor in the pass game. And when your linebackers in this system, when your two inside linebackers are not on point, it's a problem. DB, stop playing so much with your hands and play with your feet. Right here, I think this is Addison. It's too much over aggressive. And with that, he loses and he has to reach. So now we get a penalty, and that's not good. So they get a new set of downs. 1st and goal. We try our best, and our best ain't good enough. So now it's 49. Johnny, they stand with the run, brother. Toting the rock, brother. This is just jailbait. And what I've been saying for a long time, how a quarterback can eliminate all the fuck ups by everybody. Dude, this is a free runner. Doesn't get touched. Doesn't get touched. Actually, it's not timed up perfectly, but he's not touched. And it's hard because he shouldn't get touched because the running back is releasing, and that's Cutter's man. Cutter does a great job of being an athlete, gets the ball to the guy in space, and we are ahead of the chain. We third and short. Oh, first down, actually. That's big. This play was special. This play shows his level of comfort. Now, he could have been a little bit, I guess, more tidy with that throw, but with that flip, but that shows he's comfortable now. I don't think he makes that play early in the season. Resting the ball down the field, y'all. Being able to throw. Now, the difference between us and Tennessee is we didn't complete all of ours. We got some PIs and stuff. We completed one for a touchdown. See this one? I thought Cutter learned, but when the first down is there, you cannot slide. You got to dive head first so they don't. Look, y'all. They count him down. They should count him down right there. This ball should be marked down at the 42-yard line. That's where he gave himself up. It's when he starts to slide, and he starts to slide on the 42. So that's a lot of yards he gave up. They gave him more than what they should have. They put him on a 40. That's not where he started the slide. That's not where he initiated the slide. You got to go head first in those. When you're close to a first down, you got to go head first. I think head first is safer anyway. There's too many times where a guy gives himself up and people knock out quarterbacks, running backs, whomever is slide. Great misdirection play. Fake the toss. Wheelrod finds green grass. This is nice. This is play calling in a rhythm. We're in a rhythm. That's a dot, y'all. This is a fucking dot. You cannot throw that any better. Y'all, that's 4 touchdowns. That's 4 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? And the fucking corners cannot. This shit was stupid as hell. I don't even want to talk about it. Makes no fucking sense. 0 cents. Defensive front, y'all. Like I said, the run game was non-existent until the second half. All right. Now we got 3rd and 9. You got people saying we should blitz. We should be aggressive. Want y'all to understand. It makes no difference when your guys can't cover. And in zone, our linebackers are not very good in zone coverage, which didn't matter in this game because the corners couldn't cover. You bring 6. We're bringing 6, y'all. We're bringing 6. We're bringing 6. All right. They have 4 receivers. So we got 4. So that's 10. And all we do, we have a free safety that's freeing up in the middle of the field, trying to help somebody out. When your nickelback gives up inside leverage, I already said this in the cut up. Like, it's ball game. Like, look how close that is to being a sack. Boom, he gets hit, but we're beat. All right. No shade, because he's probably faster than me. But when we got beat, think about this. We didn't make up no ground on the receiver at all. We actually lost ground. So, as I've been saying for a long time, you have to run the scheme that's conducive to the guys that you have on your roster. Just that simple. When we had Carrington Valentine, we ran a little bit more man with him. When we had Max last year, 2 years ago, not last year because he ain't played much last year, we ran a little more man. When we had Boss Man Eccles, we ran a little bit more man concept. It gets ugly, y'all. When it gets to this point, defense has no confidence. Linebackers are going backwards. There's no reason for us to be retreating. 0. You're a linebacker. Your first thing should be downhill. We're going backwards. Like, it's the focus. Whatever happened this game, lack of focus by linebackers was shitty. It was downright awful. And like I'm gonna say this again on here. I think I said it on here last night. But when is there a fight? Fight with a player and a coach? When karma is a bitch. And I hope there was not situations where defensive players were getting on the offense last week. It's a problem. Because what happens is the next week, the shoe's on the other foot. The offense carried us this game. We just couldn't win, but they carried us. This is the position for Wheelwright. He is a displaced tight end. He's an H-back. His mismatch is on safeties. He beat the shit out of that safety. Like those are the matchups that we need to find. We need to get them on safeties and linebackers. Him being a viable option in the run game this week slows down guys crashing this party who's unblocked. Stand with the run game, John. Stand with the run game. Cutter's got to be a little more patient in the pocket. Sit right there. We don't have to climb anymore. Sit right there. I can't see the whole field, but I have a feeling that he's going to round into shape around that hash and be open. I could be wrong, but be patient. Tennessee played that one better. Hessel could have been a little more patient, but Pete got punched by the defensive end, and that slowed it up even more. Addison should be the starting running back. Period. I was a big Wilcox guy. Obviously, we know what's going on with him. But Patterson should be the starting running back if Seth can't go. This is so see the difference? Another mesh route. Great identification, touchdown. I'm gonna stop there. Tennessee runs out the clock. I have the plays. There's nothing in these last 8 minutes that's worth talking about. So I'm gonna let y'all off early. It's an hour. Haven't done a show in an hour in a long time, if ever. I've stepped away from Saturday. It's Monday. And I have to Tommy, I don't know what what's the prognosis on Will Ride. I don't. Tommy, I'm in Baton Rouge. I'm not I wish I could be able to go to media to press conferences and see practice. I'm not. I'm too far away. Um that would be cool, but I can't do it. So I have no info. I've stepped away, y'all, for a while. What's up? Back in the South, you don't have to keep your mouth shut. Oh, you're right, back. I see you. You're right. Um, we are creatures of the moment as humans. At the beginning of the season, how many of y'all? What did y'all have our record at this point? I had us at 3-4. We're 2-5. That's one game off. Had a feeling that like I said early on, I said I think we can win 6 to 7 games. And to win 6 to 7 games, you had to win 7 games. You had to be 3-1 after 4, and we were 2-2. The October games, we were going to lose anyway. I know it's frustrating when you're there in the Texas game, but in the grand scheme of things, I had us losing those games. I had us at best 3-4. That's the best case scenario. Now we're in a situation. Johnny, you had us at 7-0. I want to know what you smoking. So these next 3 games were the difference maker for the season. And unfortunately, what happened last year is not allowing patience. If you beat Auburn and you beat Florida, you go to Tennessee Tech and you 5-5. That's what you needed to be. 5-5. If you were 6-4, it's barbecue chicken. But you needed to be 5-5 and see what happens. Y'all, we match up well with Vandy. Vandy plays into our hands. Vandy should have lost last week to Missouri. If Drink doesn't go for it on 4th down and lose his starting quarterback, they win that game. I'm just telling you that win Auburn game, I feel better about the Florida game with an interim coach than you have Tennessee Tech. You can get yourself to 5-5. Which is where you should be anyway. Now, the bad thing about being at 5-5, I would say a bad second quarter against South Carolina and 4 bad plays against Texas, and we should be 7-3. But that's the woulda, coulda, shoulda. But 5-5 is where I had us at. Best case scenario was 6-4. 5-5 is still at our disposal. And I know people say, well, how can you say that? Because we haven't played. When this offense starts clicking, and if this offense plays like they played this week against Auburn defense is way better than Tennessee, though. Way better. Auburn's defense is on par with Texas defense. And Auburn's offense isn't as good as Texas offense, which is crazy. Auburn had to go to a backup quarterback last week. So the most important thing is to get this one on the Plains, which I heard that we haven't beat them since 2009 at home. I mean, on the road. But you win next week, which is the games that are winnable. No one thought Tennessee, Texas, or Georgia were winnable. The Auburn game is winnable. You win that game, and then let's talk next week, same time, same station. We can start talking about the next game. You win next week, then get back at me. All right, y'all. Again, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to donate, that Cash App, $ LA Bluegrass, you know what? Out of the kindness of your heart, if you want to give something, that'll be great. I understand the current state of employment now is not great. So I just have it there. Someone told me years ago to put it there. So I put it there and I left it there. When you have, if you want to, you give. If don't, ain't no big deal. I'm keeping this free anyway. But if you want to give, you want to donate. But go to YouTube. Most of y'all already subscribe and follow, which is free. Tell a friend. I'm at 516, I think. Get me to 1,000. So if everyone's already a subscriber, have a friend subscribe, that gets me to 1K. If you're on the tickies and the talks, it's VStyle17. If you're on Instagram, it's LA Bluegrass. I appreciate all you originals every week, guys and girls. Thank y'all for tuning in. And I'll see you next week, hopefully. We're 3-5 and not 2-6. I'm out.
1:16 left to play the game. Quarterback drops into the end zone.